Okay, I'm back.
Good, great,
Am I
fantastic,
back?
Ben.
Yeah, okay.
You're getting good at this, huh?
No,
Pretty
for a
good.
while I was lost and I thought, here it goes. It was going too well for me to have been able to not mess it up.
No, no, you've been perfect. I mean, I've seen worse. Don't worry. I can become a pro golfer. I take coaching classes from Priya Puri.
Well, you've got a good coach, but that's not going to be enough. You also have to get out and start playing. Don't be like the Japanese who spend all their lives on the driving range and never play on a golf course. So, to be a pro, you need to be out there and scoring numbers. So, with a good coach like Priya, now get persuaded to have her take you out and get onto some of the courses, start playing, cut yourself down to a good handicap, and then when this question gets re-asked in about a year's time, we'll give you a good answer. At the
Great.
moment, you're far away from turning pro, my friend.
So that's Rihanna.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now next one is hello, sir. My dad, Rohtas Singh, and you have played a lot of golf together, even represented India in the World Cup. Can you please share any moment of you two playing together? That's Rohit.
Well, Rohit, you know fully well, Rohtas was a brother to me, man. He was the greatest. I don't think he's got the due he deserves. Over 100 titles, fantastic human being, and we traveled together a lot. We went to Singapore together. We went to the Fiji Islands together. We went to Rome. We went to KL. We went pretty much everywhere, and the World Cups were incredible. But the funny thing was, Rohtas never ever cared that he was not able to speak the language very well, or he was just used to be able to struggle and just write his name. He used to always tell me, and he still calls me till this day captain, but he would say, as long as I get one meal, which is good Indian food in the evening, Tuesdays he would never have a drink. He would only drink the other 6 days, but he would drink regularly. He was terrific. I mean, I wish there were more Rohtases of the world. I was blessed because I grew up at a time when Noni, Jamshed, Phil Pilling, Rohtas, these were the big boys, and I got accepted very quickly. Simran Singh, I mean, he still looks as young as he looked 30 years ago. Simran, that's Amritinder's father. Ratan
Yeah.
Bali had turned pro for a while. Ajay Kapoor, Dennis as we call him, he had turned pro, but the lot that made all the difference were the lot I just mentioned, Noni, Jamie, and then Rohtas was a special. Then, of course, came Bassett, who did equally well. They were like the Mukeshes of recent times. They won so many times. But Rohtas was a legend, a dear friend of mine, and we traveled and roomed together plenty of times, and a really special guy.
Super.
So, Rohit, my best wishes to Rohtas always.
That's great to hear, Brandon. Rohtas a great guy. Yeah, I've known him for a long time. He's been a great guy. I mean, he's a gem of a guy. Okay, now
Absolutely.
comes to Twessa. Wanted to ask, what do you miss most and least about playing pro golf?
Well, definitely the travel was fun. The camaraderie in our time was amazing. I mean, we had I always say this to people, Romit, never have to wake up on a Monday and not want your job. Golf is one of those things where you wanted to get up every day because it was so much fun. And we would always room in different people's homes. So when we went to Bombay, it was always Digraj's house. When I went to Chandigarh, it was always Kaka Milka's house. When we went to Bangalore, it was always David's home, David D'Souza. When they came to me, though they never got fed very well in my house, but they would always stay with me. But what I meant was there was camaraderie, there was all this bonding, and Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday would literally speed through. They were just the most fun days. And when we traveled abroad, maybe because it wasn't so simple as it is now, and kids haven't been as much exposed as we had been we were not at all exposed. It was like a being on a party and on a ride all our lives. So those 15, 18 years were just bliss. So yeah, I missed that most certainly, and I would love to travel. As a matter of fact, I've been promising Tessa that I'm going to get to a couple of her events and be with her because I think she's going to break through, and that's one thing I'm looking forward to. And as far as the hating part of it is, there is no bigger pressure than waiting for the cut to be applied, and if you're on the bubble, which in simple English means if 142 is the cut and you're at 142, not sure whether it's going to make the top 60, that was the one that we would hate because I missed a few in my time, and there's no bigger pain. So that would be my downside of the pro side of it.
Super answer, Brandon. Now, Ranodeep Moitra from Calcutta. You know Rano.
The fitness
Uh,
king.
yeah. So he wants you to speak a little bit about Baba Pilling. Seems like a very interesting guy, he says.
Well, Phil came looking for his sister who had run away from Bristol. and was supposed to be somewhere in Goa. Phil came and loved Goa so much for many reasons, which maybe I shouldn't be putting it live, but starting with hash, that he never ever went back, though his sister did. He was the most fundamentally sound golfer I've ever met. Copybook grip, copybook posture, beautiful rhythm, never cared, never ever felt the pressure, though he used to always give a lot of credit to the joints he used to smoke, which would now be illegal. Okay? But I roomed with Phil again, like I did with Rohtas, often enough to say that I've been a passive joint smoker because we used to be up in places like Gulmarg together and lots of places, apart from the fact that he'd come and stay with us in Calcutta. And Phil was just amazing. And he used to tell me that when I'm on the right high, I'm not seeing a hole on the green. I'm seeing a bucket. It used to look that big. Now, if that is true, I don't know. But he was from Bristol, Ranadip. But what a guy, what a talent. And I know the way he guided Alisher. Alisher will have great fond memories of it. I certainly did. And I'm glad he was part of my life for the years I was on tour.
There you go, Rono. I think that's something that you asked and you got a little bit more of. So Arvind Sirohi comes up with a question. What advice do you give or have for a 16-year-old golfer, junior golfer, who has decided to play golf as a career regarding work ethics and pursuing higher studies in order to excel in his dream to play pro golf?
Well, for a start, you've got to have plan B. You can't just say, I've decided I'm going to play golf and that's all you do. Don't put all your eggs in one basket for sure. So whoever you are, make sure you finish school, get yourself at least a basic degree, and however blessed you might be. That's the first part of it. And then coming back to it, I've said this before, I'm going to repeat it. Whatever you think you're doing as practice, just double it. Whatever you think you're doing as playing, make sure that you're doing enough of it. If it's fitness, please be fitter than you can have already are. All of it, remember, there's no end to it. So as long as you're doing all of that, you're headed in the right direction.
Perfect. Great answer.
But plan B for sure.
Yeah. So you need to get educated for sure.
For sure.
That's something that you need. Bishmat Pal Singh from Chandigarh. So he says, sir, which format of tournament would you like better, match play or stroke play?
Well, match play is fun, but end of the day, it's 4 rounds, 72 holes under the gun that really makes the difference. So, you don't want to have a freak day where somebody just wins because he's had a purple day, which is fine. But so once in a while, match play doesn't hurt. But yes, 72 holes of stroke play would always be my first choice.
So the last question which we'll take today, because Brandon, I think we've run out of time here.
That's all right.
So Doc Sujit's question will be the last one. So, and everybody knows what you're a serious guy on the golf course and maybe sometimes off the golf course. But Doc Sujit's question is very apt. Your funniest moment on the golf course?
Well, there was a lady we all had a massive crush on growing up in Delhi. This was in the late 70s, early 80s. And for whatever reason, we'd always end up trying to be in her foursome, and she would always end up being my partner. And it was the most embarrassing but the funniest moment in my life, because we got to the 18th hole. I had a 5-foot putt, and she walked up to me and she said to me, "Put it in, I need it badly." So for me, apart from the fact that I missed the putt, that is stuck in my head because it was certainly one of my most embarrassing moments. So sorry if I'm getting a bit wicked on this chat, but it's not going anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
That was a good one. Okay, the last one, I forgot about Bobby Malik's question, so we'll just re-ask it. Bobby Malik, what advice do you have for 60-year-olds like me?
Well, Bobby, I had the pleasure of being out with you a few days before the lockdown, and I can tell you, you still got it. And I think living life on your terms is the first part. Make sure you make good golf holidays, go out with a group of people you love being with, play as much as you can on great courses, live your dream. You worked hard enough all your life. And at the same time, like I said, don't get into this thing that, I just like playing the game for the walk and all the rest of it, because that for me is bull. I tell everybody wants to play the best they can, and you need to think the same way. I think you're still maintaining a good single-figure handicap. You're a good 6, 7, 8 handicap. But like I said, once in a while, maybe like a couple of these senior events, go play it, compete, you'll love it. Or otherwise, like I said, go out with your group and play some of the finest courses in the world because you've earned it. Now enjoy it.
Super. Great. Thank you so much, Brandon, for being on here today. I mean, you've given us a lot of encouragement, told us exactly
Thank you
how
so
this has
much.
come about. You know, a lot of history which people will never get to know. You've shared a lot of little nuggets over here, which are like lifelong nuggets. And people like Rotas, people like Phil Pilling, people, these guys, to be,
Special guys.
just to come out with these guys, people like DCM, ITC, and all the guys who have helped promote golf. Pawanji, who's still doing it at the highest
Oh,
level.
amazing job. Amazing.
It's fantastic the kind of mentions that you have done made over here of these guys, and thank you so much for bringing them up. But also we need to mention over here all the guys that help us every day on the golf course. Working
Oh,
behind the
absolutely.
scenes, working as a help, as the caddy, as the waiter on the golf course. Just think about them during these times because
Romit, can
now
I just cut you for 1 second? I need
sure,
to say
sure,
this. The Golf
sure.
Industry Association, we have a newsletter which comes out, and I'm going to make sure that reaches you. I've done something called Ode to the Unsung Heroes of Golf, and that is the golf course superintendent and those people that make sure your golf courses are the way we want them. And I think you've spelled it out. I'm so glad you thought about it because a lot of people don't care, and we just take everything for granted, from the locker room to the F&B to the golf course. So thanks for that, my friend. You're a good guy.
Thank you, sir, and reach out to them, help them the way you guys can. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having you, Brandon. Thanks for
Thanks very
having
much.
me
Thank you for having me on
ask you
it.
these
Thank you.
questions. Thanks. Thanks.
So kind, Rohit. Thank you so much. Bye
Cheers,
bye.
man.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.